Today's show is brought to you by the CW's Superman and Lois. Here's everything you missed in the Mortal Kombat trailer. The first Mortal Kombat trailer's here, and most fans agree it looks like a flawless victory because ever since news broke that Warner Brothers was making another Mortal Kombat movie, fans all over the world have shouted three words in unison: get over here! Now at long last we have a trailer and it's full of brutal battles, iconic characters, and yes, some seriously gruesome fatalities. The only thing missing is that gloriously 90s Techno Syndrome theme song, but even then there is a nod to it in the trailer's orchestral theme that plays throughout. And considering just how complicated Mortal Kombat's lore can get, some folks out there prefer to ignore it in favor of martial arts mayhem. But we are going to attempt to break down everything you might have missed in this trailer, including Easter eggs, theories, and of course, hidden characters. The trailer begins with Sonya Blade and a horrifying flashback explaining exactly how Jaxs loses his arms, when Earthrealm's special forces were on a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. The games have always played kinda coy with this particular piece of lore because in the Scorpion's Revenge animated movie they were ripped off by Goro, but in Mortal Kombat 2011, Ermac telekinetically ripped them off of Jax's body. Here though we see SubZero freeze and then shatter Jax's arms like beefy icicles, which is just, so unsettling. Except we're not entirely sure about the timeline here because when Jaxs is driving a car later in the trailer, it kinda looks like he still has his normal human arms, so we'll just have to wait and see exactly how all of this plays out. However, as we'll see, SubZero is a central figure to this story as played by the amazing ass-kicker Joe Taslim, and it could play into one of the overarching storylines of the Mortal Kombat franchise involving SubZero, Scorpion, and SubZero's younger brother, but more on that in just a little bit. Next up, we see Sonya Blade explaining the gravity of the situation here to series newcomer Cole Young. He's played by Louis Tan and is a mixed martial artist with a mysterious birthmark that looks exactly like the Mortal Kombat Dragon logo. Convenient. Sonya explains that throughout history, different cultures have come together to fight in a great tournament of champions, and while this is happening, we see Mileena walking on the ashen plains of Outworld from which most of the movie's evildoers hail. We also see a painting of what looks like everyone's favorite toothy boy Baraka, but like, significantly handsomer. Show us those choppers, pal, we want to see them. We also see a shot of the sorcerer Shang Tsung squaring off with the thunder god Raiden in a frosty hallway, presumably so they can hammer out the exact terms of engagement for their upcoming Tournament of Champions. Meanwhile, Cole sees a horrifying flash of the undead ninja Scorpion engulfed in flames in his mirror, which adds another layer of meaning to Cole's yellow wrist wraps. In another flashback, we see a younger, less dead version of Scorpion back when he was Hanzo Hasashi. We see a glimpse of the brutal attack that killed him, his family, and presumably the entire Shinrai Ryu clan, which prompted his transformation into the resurrected ninja of Netherrealm that we know and love as Scorpion. Get over her! He can't! He's tortured by his past. Now, fun fact, Scorpion isn't actually evil, despite the fact that he does hang out in Mortal Kombat's equivalent of hell. He was manipulated by the sorcerer Quan Chi to believe that SubZero, an assassin of the rival Lin Kuei clan, was responsible for murdering his entire family. That said, based on what we're seeing here, SubZero might have done exactly that, especially because director Simon McCoy told IGN that SubZero is the key villain of this movie, but I do think there's more than meets the eye. Next, we meet the main heroes that will join Cole Young as Earthrealm's mightiest champions. The energy-manipulating Sonya Blade, the eyeball laser-blasting Kano, the fireball-shooting Liu Kang, the metal-armed Jaxs, the hat-tossing Kung Lao, and the lightning-wielding Lord Raiden. Now, something else to note is that we see Kano both with and without his iconic metal faceplate and his cybernetic eyes, so something tells me everyone's favorite angry Aussie might break bad during this movie as well. And there are plenty of other characters referenced and featured during this sequence as well. It looks like Jaxs is fighting this unmasked version of Cabal. Kung Lao is deflecting a flaming arrow, which makes me wonder if he's fighting Nightwolf or maybe his nephew Kung Jin for some reason. And there's a blink and you'll miss it moment where you can see one of Kitana's steel fans sitting pretty on a pedestal. The montage continues with Scorpion appearing before who I'm guessing is Cole Young, given their earlier connection in the trailer. And I say this because Cole is wearing that same thin strip of red cloth around his waist when you see him fighting Kung Lao as well. We also get a deeply disturbing shot of Mileena licking the blood off her side like it's barbecue sauce on a rib, but I don't know, maybe they just like different flavors in Outworld, who knows? Next up, we see a gigantic statue of Shao Kahn, the despotic ruler of Outworld, who commands people like the sorcerer Shang Tsung to do his dirty work. Then we see a mysterious character with grayish skin and claws materialize on the rafters above Sonya and Cole. Now, based on the shot that follows of Shang Tsung commanding the ninja Noob Saibot to kill people, it's probably Noob lurking above them waiting to strike, but it could also be another ninja known as Smoke if you consider the way this character just appears out of thin air. However, the grotesque musculature makes us wonder if it's maybe Reptile who pops up later in the trailer, or another deep cut like Chameleon, or maybe Meat, who's one of Shang Tsung's escaped experiments with an ability called Flesh Teleport and just looks truly upsetting, just a wretched creature. By the way, if Noob Saibot sounds particularly silly, that's because it's the names of Mortal Kombat's creators Ed Boon and John Tobias spelled backwards. After that, we come to Liu Kang unleashing his inner dragon fire on what seems to be a masked-up version of Cabal based on his weaponry and follow-up shots of their battle, and after that we see the four-armed murder monster Goro leaping towards Cole, who's now wearing a strange suit of armor like we saw earlier when he met Scorpion. Then, in one of the best sequences of the entire trailer, we get the fight that everyone has been waiting for, SubZero versus Scorpion, complete with ice daggers used to cut off Scorpion's arms, SubZero using Scorpion's blood and freezing that into a dagger as well, and SubZero's giant ice walls. It also features Scorpion's iconic "Get over here" line as he spears SubZero to seemingly save Cole's life. So, wait a minute. Why is Cole caught in the middle of SubZero and Scorpion's scuffle? Well, like all things in Mortal Kombat, it is complicated with a K. Before his untimely death, Noob Saibot was known as Bi-Han, the original SubZero. And as we mentioned before, Scorpion believed that SubZero killed his clan and his family, so Scorpion murdered SubZero during the first Mortal Kombat tournament. And as we now know, it wasn't SubZero at all, rather it was the evil sorcerer Quan Chi. But in Mortal Kombat lore, there is another ninja that takes on the moniker of SubZero, a character named Kuai Liang, who turns out to be the younger brother of Bi-Han, the original SubZero and current Noob Saibot. And what do you get if you anglicize the name Kuai Liang? Cole Young. So our working theory is that Cole is actually the brother or descendant of the OG SubZero, and much like in the games, Scorpion's trying to make up for the mistake of murdering Bi-Han by protecting Bi-Han's relative, Cole, which explains why Scorpion would appear to Cole in the mirror and come to his aid during this trailer. Now, we could be totally off base here, but it does seem like the likeliest explanation for all of this. Anyway, then we finally get some awesome fan service for the games, with Shang Tsung shouting "finish them" and a montage of fatalities, the game's bloody finishing moves. It includes Sonya Blade executing Melina, young Scorpion stabbing a ninja assassin, and Kano ripping out Reptile's heart while echoing the in-game announcer saying Kano wins. Mostly, I'm just grateful that Mortal Kombat is upholding its greatest cinematic tradition by making Kano the single most quotable character. And outdoing Trevor Goddard's gleefully unhinged performance from 1995's movie is a tall order, but it does look like Josh Lawson is more than up to the task.
You f***ing beauty.
And that, folks, is everything we spotted in the Mortal Kombat trailer. Make sure you stay tuned because Rosie Knight has exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews from the movie set coming up on Nerdist.com as well. Thanks again to the CW, Superman and Lois for sponsoring today's show. On February 23rd, see the Man of Steel and Metropolis's top journalists like you've never seen them before, struggling to stay afloat as parents in the modern world. Experience the latest epic entry in the Arrowverse in a supersized 2-hour premiere event on Tuesday, February 23rd at 8/7 Central on the CW, or stream free the next day on the CW app. In the meantime, folks, tell us, what do you think of this trailer? Did you spot anything that we missed? And who is Cole Young really? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.